You are not as fast a cyclist as you can be because you focus on the wrong things. You obsess about your wheel depth, the exact length of your VO2 max interval, or the amount of protein in your post-workout shake. I'm Arne Peters, ex-pro cyclist and owner of Morpheus bicycles, a brand that focuses on helping cyclists get faster. In this week's Morpheus news, I want to talk about the few things that make the most impact on your cycling speed using the Pareto principle. The Pareto principle, or 80-20 rule, describes that around 20% of the inputs are responsible for around 80% of the outputs. For example, in a lot of businesses, around 80% of the revenue comes from around 20% of the customers. Yesterday I was thinking about the 80-20 rule in the context of cycling speed. What are the 20% of things that cause 80% of our performance in terms of speed on the bike? This year I have written 50 emails with 50 ways to get faster on a bike, so I went back and selected my top 10 that have the most impact on cycling speed. Of course, things are different for everyone, so I'm generalizing here. I assume you are a road cyclist and you want to get faster on flat roads riding solo. For example, you want the highest average speed over a 1 hour solo ride. My 80-20 in no particular order is number 1, a comfortable saddle position. If you can't stay on your saddle for a prolonged period of time without being really uncomfortable, you will never perform to the best of your ability. So it makes sense to dial that in first. Number 2 is fueling with enough carbs on and off the bike. So if you're not fueled before the ride and during the ride, you will never perform to your peak. These are also very easy things to adjust if you're not doing them already. Number 3, when it comes to recovery, quality sleep is by far the most important. Get in around 8 hours per night and I think you're set. This is also very important for overall health, so recommend it. Number 4, when it comes to training, consistency is everything. If you're not training consistently, there's no way you're performing to the best of your ability. With around 8 to 10 hours per week of training consistently, you can get very close to around 80% of your peak performance in this case, I think. Number 5, when you're riding on flat roads, aerodynamics are very important. And when it comes to aerodynamics, position is by far the most important factor. Around 80% of your aerodynamic drag on the bike comes from your position on the bike. So make sure to dial that in and get in an aerodynamic position. Number 6, again, aerodynamics, aero clothing. And I've included aerodynamics twice because aerodynamics is the biggest force holding you back from going faster on flat roads. So aero position and aero clothing are key here. And what about your weight? Of course, it's not ideal to be very heavy when you're a cyclist, but being really light is not that important on flat roads. For me, the most important thing in controlling your weight is eating the right foods. And with the right foods, I mean foods with a low caloric density and a high nutritional value. With these foods, it's not that important how much you eat or when you eat them. If you stick to these foods, there's a very small chance you will be overweight, and that's the main thing you want to avoid. Now, number 7, another easy one, is getting fast tires. Rolling resistance can add up, and getting fast tires can just shave a few watts very easily. Now, we all understand that having friction in a lot of parts is not ideal when we want to get faster, but I found that having a waxed chain will prevent most problems when it comes to a dirty chain or things that are not rolling smoothly. So again, the 80-20 for decreasing friction is getting a waxed chain, in my opinion. And the last one is your pacing strategy. One of the biggest mistakes beginners make is going really hard from the start and then fading towards the end. Pacing your effort evenly or having a negative split will improve your performance by a lot. Now the funny thing is, with these 10 you can apply the 80-20 rule again. I think from these 10, training consistently and having an aerodynamic position are the 2 most important. Most cyclists can improve their FTP by more than 30 watts by just training consistently. It's very hard to get that kind of gain anywhere else. And with aero testing your position, it's the same. Most cyclists can save 30 watts or more at threshold speeds when they really dial in their position. So if it takes you 250 watts to go 35 kilometers an hour, you can get that down to 220 pretty comfortably. Alright, let's move on to some community updates. First off, the 12-week challenge registrations open on December 1, so next week, Monday. I'll talk about what the 12-week challenge is a bit more next week, but if you want to improve your performance in the first 12 weeks of 2026, keep an eye on this and stay tuned. Alright, this week's 7-day leaderboard was won by Robert Wagner. Congratulations! He was just new last week in the community, but he contributed a lot and he won a 12-week custom training plan and 12 weeks Training Peaks Premium. Now for this week you can win 5 simulations of your position in a aero virtual wind tunnel. You can click the link in the post and check out what that actually means. You can win this leaderboard by being a premium member and getting likes from other members. 1 like equals 1 point. Now our Strava club has a leaderboard as well, but there is no prize attached to it yet. But I want to give a shout out to Tristan Ingham. He just got over 10 kilometers more than Thomas Whelan, so nice job. These are some massive distances to do in November, I would say, so good job. Now, do you personally struggle with getting faster on the bike? You can schedule a one-on-one call with me. I'll not pitch you anything. Where we try to get you to the next level. You can click this link in the post and it will take you to the classroom. This is only for premium members, so you can upgrade if you're not a premium member yet. Now our Zwift group workouts are also getting more and more traction, so if you want to work out with us on Zwift, every Tuesday and every Saturday we do a ride together. And on Tuesday it's an interval session and on Saturday it's an easy endurance ride. So if you want to join, follow me on Zwift and I'll add you to the meetup on the day before the ride starts. Alright, so what's next for Morpheus? And I made this list a little bit shorter to not extend it too far into the future. But at first we're going to design a Morpheus cycling kit and I want to do this with the community. I'll make a post about the design competition and how to participate, but I can already tell that the winner will win the kit for free. Also, last week I went to a professional photographer to take some pictures of the Rapid frame set. Stay tuned for that, and I'll also update the Rapid website with the new pictures and stuff, so keep an eye on that as well. Thanks for watching, I hope you can implement one of these 10 and I'll see you next week.